Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Faye and I'm happy to be here with you guys. I am excited also to talk about this topic because it has been a few years and I've noticed that I've gotten quite a lot of messages from people asking for advice. So I'm back here again to give some advice to those of you who want to travel and live abroad. So for those of you who don't know, I made an original video a few years ago called Why I Left Korea. And I got into some details about having a very difficult time settling in there and not having the best experience compared to some of the other people that I knew or people that I've watched online that had a great experience. That wasn't the case for me. And so I explained why I left Korea. Now I'm going to talk about a little bit of the details of what to expect when you're there and just how to maneuver through the lifestyle of living in a foreign country, especially in my case, an Asian foreign country, and being a Black Canadian woman who went there as an English teacher, and some of the things to kind of look out for and some of the challenges with that. So I will get right into it. And if you do find value from this video, please like, subscribe, and share. I'm a new YouTuber. I did this video a couple years ago, but I got so caught up with life that I had just kind of fallen off on YouTube, but I'm back at it again and ready to keep it rolling. So let's get into it. So yes, for those of you who did not watch the first original video, I moved to Korea to be a teacher, an English teacher to be exact, and I lived in a very rural part of Korea. I was not in Seoul, which is the capital, the main city where everybody normally wants to go because it's the most vibrant and it's cultured and it's there's a lot of foreigners there. It's a very happening place. So most people, when they're placed, they prefer to be placed in Seoul. I unfortunately did not get that luxury. I was placed in a place called Ansang, which was a very small, isolated farm a school that was isolated and on a farm and far away from Seoul and any main cities really. It had its own little downtown, space and its own little city, but it was definitely the rural parts of Korea, so that made it a little bit challenging to adapt. However, I did make a lot of friends there. I had a lot of teachers who were English teachers as well from different countries, from South Africa, from the USA, from Australia, from New Zealand. So I met a lot of great people from other countries, which was pretty awesome. And they were, close by. So that was great. However, as I said, you're living in a city where you're probably, you can count on your hands how many foreigners you see per day. So you're going to stand out. So for those of you who are, of color, whether you are or other than Asian, whether you may be South Asian, Indian, for example, you may be Hispanic, or you may be Black, you may be mixed race, whatever it is. You may be white. You're just different. You're not Asian. You may have a little bit of a hard time probably adjusting in the beginning because it is very especially if you're placed in a rural city where a lot of the people have not seen someone of color, you will get stared at a lot. I've had those experiences of being stared at a lot, and kind of being pointed at. So that was an experience as well. But it's something that you definitely have to try and just get around and just kind of ignore it. But yes, you will be looked at a lot. Something else to consider as well, um, if you are placed in somewhere that's more rural, you may have a difficult time finding your way around. So I would suggest if you can get data before you arrive, that's the best option because you're going to get lost if you don't have internet, and normally you will not get a phone right away. You will have to sign up for an ACN number and all types of stuff. So you have to wait for that, and it takes quite a while. So if you can get a phone plan beforehand on your own without your co-teacher or anyone helping you, that would really probably be beneficial for you. Or use your data or your internet that you have in your home space and then map out where you need to go first, and then try to follow it. Also, if you do not speak the language, it may be difficult to get around as well because you will not see the signs, because the signs will not be written in English. So you will have to figure out what your stops are and how to get off at those stops. But you will get used to it. I just memorized where I had to go, and that way when the time came, I knew where I was and I would just get off there. But if it's your very first time, definitely try to have a map or something so that you can mark out, or have landmarks so you can mark out where you're supposed to be. Another thing is there have been people who have experienced racism. That's something that does happen as well. I wouldn't say it's direct or it's violent, but it can be indirect. And Koreans are very indirect people. They normally don't like to say things as they are. So they may not receive you that well if you don't look the same way, especially if they don't know anything about you. So just be prepared for that possibility. It doesn't mean that they won't warm up to you, especially the people that do get to know you. If you're working in a school and they get to know you and they see that you're a good person and they like you, they will warm up to you, and you more than likely won't experience that. But maybe with strangers or people that don't know you, you might experience some discrimination, or maybe not being listened to, or maybe being ignored. Those are things that can happen. Even with transit, sometimes people might move, they may not want to sit beside you, so those things do happen. Hopefully that won't be your experience, but I do know people who have had that experience, including myself. I've had that experience in some cases, not often though. So there's that. Also, you want to make sure that you get very familiar with your co-teacher and you are able to kind of express to them your concerns, anything that you'd like them to help you with. Let them know that you're new to this country and it's a bit scary and you don't really know your way around, and if they could just give you a little extra attention just for the first week or two. Just, I think expressing that ahead of time gives them that empathy towards you as well, because they'll realize, okay, this person is struggling a little bit with settling in. Let me give them that extra help. I didn't do that, and so that's why I'm giving you that advice, because I kind of just assumed that my co-teacher would be understanding, and she wasn't. So just communicate. I think that's the best thing you can do in any given situation like this. That's very important. Another thing to also consider is the food will be different. If you're not used to eating lighter food, Koreans usually eat a lot of rice, a lot of kimchi, a lot of vegetables, a lot of noodles. Not a lot of, they do eat a lot of meat as well, depending. But the schools themselves, they usually provide lunch. So if you're eating at the school, a lot of your meals will be rice, kimchi, and a side of a meat or some soup or something. So if you're used to eating large portions, especially for me coming from a North American country, I was very used to that. So that was a little bit of a challenge getting used to that right away. But you will find a lot of Western restaurants like McDonald's, Subway, things like that. They do exist there. And normally they're in every major city or every little city, actually, every small city too has them. That can be kind of your safe haven if if you're starting out and you're not really used to the food yet. You could definitely maybe ease your way into it. So yes, you will find some places that are going to remind you of home. There was also a Starbucks, and the McDonald's was pretty awesome because they delivered as well. So I thought that was pretty cool. They had guys on like their motorcycles and they would deliver the food to you. So yeah, that can be quite interesting as well. So yeah, that's something to consider. And I would say definitely prepare yourself before you go. Get really involved in the culture. Try to learn some of the language as well before you go. They don't really teach you a lot in the beginning. All the teachers get together and they get to kind of stay together and take classes on how to teach and things like that. They do have a Korean class as well, but it's too condensed in such a short period of time. You're not really going to learn enough to survive. So if you can give yourself a head start by starting before, that would probably be the best option. I didn't do that, unfortunately, because everything happened so fast. So I had to learn along the way while I was there, and that was a little bit challenging. So try to learn the language before you arrive. That's the best thing to do. In terms of making friends, you will meet a lot of people and there will be a lot of people willing to be your friend, whether that's Koreans or foreigners, because everyone there is kind of they are very talkative. They people will come up to you. Korean people will come up to you and talk to you if they know English. Especially younger students will come up to you and call you teacher, especially you're noticeably different if you're not Asian. They'll just call you teacher because they assume that that's why you're there. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And welcoming in that sense. A lot of the kids, they don't really judge you based on your skin color. They just see you as a teacher. So yeah, you can engage and talk to people. And there will be people that want to just practice their English, or they want to just have an English friend, so they'll befriend you for that reason. So there's also that. So it's pretty interesting as well, with that as well. So definitely be open-minded and attend some classes, maybe dance classes or extracurricular activities that you can do, so that it can kind of get you more involved in the community and people can meet you, and you can make friends that way as well. Join also Facebook groups, because there's a lot of them and you'll be able to make friends with people before even entering the country, and they can show you around. When I first arrived, I met up with some people from the Facebook group and they showed me how to get my phone. They showed me where all the hot spots were and brought me to a couple of parties, things like that, just to get acquainted. I went to dinner with some of them. So that was pretty cool and exciting. So definitely join some Facebook groups and get acquainted with the members in that group and try to meet up with those people as well. And it's nice to just have people you can speak English with, and you're not struggling to come up with words to say, or they're not struggling to understand you. You kind of have a common ground. So I'd say that's also really important. But just go with the mindset that you have to be mentally strong to live in another country when you don't speak the language. It's going to have a lot of challenges and ups and downs. You're not going to feel comfortable. You may go through depression. You may go through anxiety. You may it's going to be also exciting at the same time because you're somewhere new and everything's going to look exciting, and you're going to be exploring this city hopefully and getting to know a lot of great people. So there's definitely going to be a lot of ups and downs. You're going to have some days that are great and some days that are not so great. Staff members at your school might be really great and receptive to you, and others may not be. So just be mentally prepared for the possibilities of people just not liking you or not really wanting to talk to you for whatever reason. But also know that there will be people that will befriend you and be very open and warm and friendly as well. So there is definitely a balance of the two. Also, be mentally prepared to not stay somewhere that you like. Not every room that's provided, or I should say, apartment that's provided by the school is a great apartment. Some of them are really tiny, some of them are really hard to get used to if the furniture is hard. Or I know in Korea the beds are usually quite hard, so you might experience a bed that's hard. And the bathrooms as well do not have bathtubs. So it's a shower overhead that's attached to your sink. I explained that in the first one. So you might experience a little bit of it's gonna feel different. Let's just say that. The drain will be in the middle of the bathroom, so your shower is essentially the entire bathroom. So all of your stuff will probably get wet if you keep it in there. Things like that. Hard to adjust. Toilet paper. They do not flush toilet paper down the toilet. So I can't tell you how many times I was reminded over and over again, do not flush toilet paper. Korean toilets, the drainage and the water system, I don't know, they can't handle toilet paper. So you're gonna have to throw your toilet paper in the garbage. That took me a while to get used to because your brain just subconsciously does things that you're used to, right? So you have to literally tell yourself, okay, I need to put the toilet paper in the garbage can. And that goes for wherever you are. If you're at home, if you're at school, if you go to a restaurant, wherever you are, throw your toilet paper in the garbage. Do not flush it. Yeah, that's going to be rung through your head a million times. Also, taxis are very much available and easy to get. You just have to walk out and wave one down and they'll stop for you. Do have a map, I would say, because the taxi drivers don't usually speak English, so they might get confused with what you're asking them to do or where you're asking them to go. So just have a map that you can bring to them and just point, and then they can look at it and say, okay, and they bring you there. Or take a picture of where you need to go, and have a picture of your home as well, like a picture of because usually the apartment buildings will have the apartment number at the front and the name of the street. So just in case anything happens or you need to find your way back home and you get lost, just have a picture of the front of your apartment so that you can show the taxi driver where you live, and then they will know exactly where to go. Definitely something I wish I knew in the very beginning, but I figured it out really fast. So that's another thing. So yeah, overall, just be mentally prepared before you leave, and spend a lot of time just prepping, and take it seriously, and know that you're going to be in another country where things are going to be completely different than what you're used to, and you will go through a whole rainbow of emotions. You're going to feel happy some days, and some days you're going to miss home. You're going to feel homesick. You're going to miss the food. You're going to be happy hanging out with friends one day, and the next day you don't want to see anyone. Like, it's, your emotions can be all the way up and all the way down. That comes with it. And just think of people you know that maybe have come here, migrated to your country from wherever they are from, and they're going through the same thing. So just think of the people that you know that are, getting used to your country. It's the same thing anywhere you go. It's not the easiest thing to adapt to. And I would suggest, if you're not someone that can easily adapt to new environments, go to that country first and see if you like it before making that sudden decision to go and to just uproot your whole life and move to another country that you don't know anything about. Don't just watch videos and think, oh, I know what I'm doing, I can handle it. No. If you're someone that it takes a while to adapt to a new place, definitely go there first on a vacation and see how the culture is and how everything is. And then you can then decide if that place is the place for you. I would suggest that. Even if you're someone that is easily adaptable, that might still be the best option, just because you don't know something until you're in it. Everything always looks good on social media. Everything always looks good on, YouTube and in videos, because people are going to show you their best selves and their best part of their experience. But there are pros and cons with any country that you go to. So definitely do that. And I would suggest also having some kind of person that's there already that can give you some kind of advice or tips, or can help you with immigration. Agencies or using an agent is also a great way to go about it. Just a suggestion, because I used an agent. I used Reach to Teach, and they went through the process with me, told me what to do in terms of immigration and what was expected and what documents to get. That's something that's very difficult to do on your own. So I would suggest getting an agent or signing up with an agency and allowing them to kind of do the hard parts for you. So that's about it in terms of this video. So I hope that you got some value from this. It was highly requested, so I decided I would just give you guys some more information. If you do have any further questions, feel free to message me and I will be happy to respond. So I hope and I wish you all the best on your endeavors. If you're thinking about going somewhere, or if you've decided you will already, or if you're in the process, I wish you all the best. And it's a life-changing experience. So even though it comes with everything that it comes with, the whole ups and downs and emotions, and you're gonna miss your family, all of that will come, but it's life changing and you will never come back the same. So I do wish you all the best, and thank you, and I will see you next time.